On this segment today, we are taking a periscope or a flashlight on Nigeria Export Promotion Council. And before we go further, I want to hit the nail on the head. My guest is the Chief Executive Officer of that council, Olusegun Awolowo. It's my pleasure to have you on Insight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. You have talked so much about zero oil plan. What is this plan all about? Can we know?
In a nutshell, it's really mainly about raising productivity and the productive capacity of Nigerians. What we did was President Muhammadu Buhari expressed in frustration. He was addressing the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. And he looked at it and said Nigeria must start behaving as if it has no oil at all. And we took the cue from that, and that's why we have this oil plan. Now the idea is that will Nigeria not survive if we do not have oil? And for us at NEPC, it's a big no. You know, we will survive because we have so many other things to put out there. Now, the problem we have in the country today is not just a revenue problem, but it's just a shortage of foreign exchange. Okay. Because your whole foreign exchange is coming from oil. You have 90% of your revenue is from oil, from one product. So whenever the prices crash or they play with the prices, then you have a huge problem. So we say the challenge is to grow the supply of foreign exchange. How do you do that? By exporting other products other than oil. So what the Zero Oil Plan did was to look at it holistically, and we came up with 22 products that we say Nigeria has competitive and comparative advantage in, and we should mobilize resources and public, both public and private sector resources. We call it our first coherent agenda to mobilize these sectors towards achieving a goal. For instance, in the category A products, a quick example I'll give you, when you look at petrochemicals and methanol, that is trading $150 billion annually globally, yet Nigeria is not there. And the ironic thing and the sad thing about it, we're a petrol economy, yet we're importing. And then we take the list. We have 11 in category A products. We have 11. There's also soya beans, meal and oil. There is sugar, raw cane and confectionery, cotton and yarn, nitrogenous fertilizer and ammonia, palm oil, rice, rubber, hides and leather, cocoa, and gold. When I mention all these things, you're smiling because you recognize them. Yeah. You know, this is what we have all over the country, yet we're not trading. So the plan is calling for us to raise productivity all along those sectors. First, you need to produce more all along those sectors, and then we get into the export market.
The next curious question anybody want to ask, as you've identified now, is like they will say, walking the talk. So where are we with it now?
We're at implementation stages. Now, what has happened is that the government has come in and sat down and looked at all the sectoral policies, be it from agric, be it from solid minerals, and also in our own ministry, Industry, Trade and Investment, the Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan. They looked at all of it, and then they said also a Zero Oil Plan, and say put everything together, and that's what President Buhari launched, the Economic Growth Recovery Plan. And now we're in implementation of that plan.
Is it possible that if the regulatory framework is not maybe toned down to fitting, there could be issues?
Yes, everything is being toned down to fit in. It's a comprehensive plan. It takes care of all of that.
Because we have had cases where people like you blaze the trail, initiate ideas like this, and just as you're taking off, customs comes and no, it's not possible.
No, not anymore.
Have you knocked off?
No, not anymore. And you know, also there is a Presidential Council on the ease of doing business that the President Buhari inaugurated, formed, because that was one of his very first
if you mention NEPC, there's Olusegun Awolowo, Zero Oil. Well, you are so passionate about zero oil. Well, let me take you off a bit. You were quoted somewhere. Let me quote you clearly. Olusegun Awolowo observed that small and medium exporters and export regulating agencies lack export knowledge.
Yeah.
A capacity building program organized by your office, that's what you quoted. And you went on to say, empirical studies have shown that key challenges to exporters, both to the European Union, African markets, are lack of knowledge, experience, and exposure regarding export marketing and management among small, medium exporters and export regulatory agencies. And you were trying to justify your pilot on sesame seeds, cocoa, and cashew. How well have you worked on this so that your zero oil stuff will work?
Okay,
if this is not, if they don't have capacity and capability, zero oil will not work.
So that's it's a holistic, comprehensive plan. Apart from identifying these various sectors where Nigeria needs to increase productivity and productive capacity, we also have many initiatives we're working along. Now, the first, one of the most important one is we also have, it's called our Zero to Export program. It's a training program for would-be exporters, new exporters, existing exporters, to train them throughout the rudiments of export trade. Because it's very, sometimes your products are rejected because of documentation. If your forms are filled wrong, if you happen to fall in the arms of fraudulent freight forwarders, you lose your consignment. So we're working with that. But now for the EU in particular, we are working with the CBI, is the Center for Exports in Netherlands. Yes, it's funded by the Netherlands government and the EU, and the idea is to help and develop companies to export directly into the EU seamlessly. So you have to undergo a lot of training in order to do that. So we picked 3 products in our zero oil plan in collaboration with them, because that's also products that they want to buy in their country. And so we picked cashew, cocoa, and sesame seeds. Now, with those 3 now, we are now going out. We've trained, the first set of the program was to train NEPC staff themselves. So now we have export coaches and export trainers. They now go out and interact with the farmers, the various companies that are interested, that are doing in this business. And we are going to select for this particular project, we're just selecting 12 companies in these sectors. So we're running the program now with them. Now we're taking them through various, because not every product you have is ready for export. Just because I'm wearing this doesn't mean it's ready for export, because there are various things that the buyers out there, they look at, they want, and you must be aware of that. Okay. So we're very proud of that program. In fact, the NEPC staff, they're really excited about it. Now we have our 60 export coaches, we have our 60 export traders, and at the end of the day, we'll select these 12 companies, and they will be able to export seamlessly into the EU. Now, what they're doing is not just, this is the development, because it's now value-added exports, which we think that is the way for us to create wealth for the country. Okay. So they're not going to be exporting raw materials. It's processed goods, the sesame in processed form, the cashew in processed form, and the cocoa in paste, butter, powder in processed form. That's what they're going to be exporting, so not the raw materials.
What are you doing about our products? The big news, although it's no more news now, about the embarrassment we got a couple of years back, where our products get across the shores and they are subjected to all kinds of checks.
I say that was really overblown. Sometimes I think it was even political. Look, we get thousands of products are being rejected every day all around the world.
Not Nigeria alone.
Not only Nigeria. Okay. Nigeria also rejects products that come in. The custom rejects it, they send it back, or they ban it, or they sometimes.
No, but on our own,
where we are now, we're working with UNIDO and our ministry on the Nigeria Quality Infrastructure Program. Now, what that does, and also the safety management, and what that does is, for the first time, we're able to have quality control on the production and growth of most of our agricultural products. Where now the stage we're now, we're doing a conduct of excellence program all across our farmlands to teach them the best agricultural best practices. This we're doing with the Ministry of Agric and our own ministry and the Ministry of Health. Those three ministries together working with UNIDO to achieve this National Quality Infrastructure Program. So we'll have our control of all our products. Now, the conduit of excellence, it's true that for the product that was banned was beans. And before that, I forget the name now, there was another product that banned, and we worked on it. Okay. And they are going seamlessly in the UK now. But what you read, what you get every time, look, the EU operates what they call this rapid alert system for food and feed. Okay. Food for humans and feed for animals. And it's the highest quality wherever, because it's the whole EU. They don't want you to bring in a product that will cause problems for their people, okay, which is understandable. So it's a very high alert system. So if a suitcase of snails, for example, comes from Nigeria, goes through, it raises that alarm because it didn't pass the test. Boom, it's a big thing. Yeah. It's all over that, oh, that product is banned. So the rapid alert system, we get it every day. Okay. We read it every day where we subscribe to the portal.
What is gratifying to hear that
so
it's
we
not
know.
Peculiar to Nigeria.
No, it's not. It's
okay.
not. Every country goes through it. Okay. For us, in our own case, it was beans. Before that, it was melon. But then we corrected. Let's say it's banned. But in case of beans, because we also had problems with beans, if you remember, I think it was last year, yeah, somewhere in Kaduna, people died, poisoned beans. So we have to be extremely careful. So for us, it was not such a big deal as everybody made out to that beans have been banned. Now, also we have to also know that when you are in the world of international trade, you are looking at various non-tariff barriers that countries use against each other. In order to force you to try and get you to sign into something or not sign into something. So we're aware of all that. But the most important thing is that it's also for our own safety. Let's work on our best agricultural practices from growing all our food products. Okay. Because now it's farm to the table, okay, and the issue of traceability is also very important. Okay. In all these products. Yeah,
today there's a common balance, say the world is a small village today.
It's extremely small.
NEPC, you must be networking very well. Who are your immediate stakeholders you're working with? I can imagine that
the immediate stakeholders of course, are the exporters. Those are immediate. We have 17 parastatals in our ministry, Industry, Trade and Investment, that we work with. Our sister agency is the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission. Okay. And the idea in, like I say, if you take the Economic Recovery Growth Plan, that document synergizes how many of these agencies are supposed to work together. And like I told you, President Buhari's on the ease of doing business, the council is chaired by the vice president. It's all about that, to get all the agencies together.
I'll still go to the zero oil, but let me just hit this in terms of integrity. Have you subjected the exporters networking with you into integrity tests? You have a good compendium of good ones?
We're not a police checkpoint really, but what we do is to grow them. In terms of capacity, in terms of human development, in terms of helping them with packaging, helping them with labeling, and it's all mostly on training, because everybody, when the oil prices crash, suddenly everybody wants to be an exporter. Everybody's registering on our website now to get an export license. I just want to take this so I can make foreign exchange, because I can't afford to change naira for foreign exchange again, which is good, but we tell them no. We are really not interested in suitcase exporters, but everybody will support. But we are looking really at transformational export projects that can take Nigeria. You know, the whole country. You know, I say the sustained growth and recovery of our economy must be on the back of an export-driven revolution.
Okay.
You know, we must just start exporting.
So invariably, you've already taken off within the ambit of the ease of doing business in Nigeria.
Yes.
So any testimonies?
Oh yes, good testimonies coming now, especially with these new presidential orders that have been released to the public. Now, one of them calls that at every port there must be an export terminal for Nigerian goods. Now, that will include refrigeration of agricultural products in order so we can get them out. And it will cause very good synergy between agencies like SACO, NACO, shared, and the custom service, that they must know that, look, you must always fast track agricultural products going abroad. Okay. It's a very big thing. You must realize that we've been an importing nation for years. Okay. You know, we run an import bill of over $50 billion.
They say if you don't breathe life to the private sector, you won't see them functioning.
Yeah.
And there has always been a zero oil somewhere, but you came and breathed life to it. We now hear zero oil everywhere. And we hope and believe, even after your tenure as NEPC Chief Executive Officer, we should see the zero oil plan working.
I think Nigeria has reached the stage that we don't have a choice.
Okay.
We
so
just
where are we
have
looking up to it maybe just in a year's time?
A year's time is for us obviously to be producing more. Production is key. We need to just grow more.
Okay.
We need to grow more. And with all the sectors we look at, agriculture is still the main thing where we have a big comparative advantage. I always quote Akinwumi Adesina, the ADB, African Development Bank president, that agriculture is the next big money sector, making sector. Okay. Africa's food and agribusiness will reach $1 trillion by 2030. That is where we should be. Okay. And arable land in Nigeria, those are all our comparative advantage. You know, from the northeast to the northwest, we can grow everything. Okay. So we need first increase production. Okay. And like I said, it's there to stay. It was Governor Fashola who said at the PENCOM summit that this diversification we used to look at the window and then we wave, diversification, how are you? What diversification has done now, it has opened the window, the door, come in and sat with us. So it's sitting at our table now. So we have no choice. I
also hope and believe that the states, the local governments are all involved.
Oh, well, the states are key. Okay. That is where you are going to raise
before the director will stop us
production.
Talking now, let me just throw this. Trailblazers have a challenge. And that challenge, normally, they clear the path. Maybe the path they clear could be an earth road. Maybe the successor of the trailblazer may come and asphalt the road. Maybe the subsequent one will add it to 200 cm. Yeah. You're a trailblazer in this area, and I believe you imagine, even if you live tomorrow in 5 years' time, what NEPC will look like. You came, you saw, you're there. When you leave, what are you expecting?
Well, I know for certain it won't be the same as I met it. Okay. And that is my it won't be the same. Okay. And the next generation of people, which I hope we have been able to inspire, I think they will take it up. Okay.
I had a chat with the Minister of Foreign Affairs at the first year of this government, and I said, "What's your take to other countries?" He said, "The time is now for other countries to key into the image laundering campaign Mr. President was doing." And now to Nigerians, what will you be telling Nigerians? Because a lot of Nigerians will imagine NEPC is still that NEPC they knew years back. So what will you tell Nigerians? Is it time for them to come, or they should still wait?
No, they should start growing their businesses and getting ready for the export revolution, because it's the next level of products and design. Is it from leather? Is it from fashion? Is it footwear? Is it food? Is it processed goods? The next big market is going to be from Nigeria, and they have to be ready for it, and they are going to make money.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I've been talking with Olusegun Awolowo, CEO, Nigeria Export Promotion Council.